All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So feel free to use the chat. Everyone say hi. Make sure your chat's set to all panelists and attendees if you want everyone to see. Welcome everyone. There's been a really cool vibe in the group. I'm not sure if you guys feel it. I know I'm in there more than a lot of people. I know I'm invested in the group more than most people, but I get on a lot of calls with you guys and I get on a lot of chats and I make sure everyone's okay during this pandemic, and there's a really nice energy of people just wanting to help, wanting to contribute, wanting to do what they can. I'm loving it. It's while everyone else is freaking out, it seems like there are some really cool pockets of people who are just doing what they can, who are recognizing it's a opportunity to get to the next level in their own personal development, and it's just a really good vibe. Really good vibe. I'm loving it. A few updates. So thank you for everyone who commented on my post today. Following Christina's mastermind call, I thought it'd be really cool for me to do some research on myself and with you guys who follow my content and who jump on these calls. And so I did a post getting your feedback around what my strengths are. So there may be some strengths and some gifts that I have that I'm missing, but that I don't recognize in myself. And so it's been awesome for you guys to be really engaging on that post and give me just a few words of some things that you think are my strengths and some of the gifts that I have in your own perspective. So that's been great. And especially with a lot of you who are willing to jump on the podcast as an episode. So I'm going to be doing daily episodes, whether that's short, sharp insights from me and what I'm going through and what I'm learning. But a lot of you have raised your hand to want to jump on the podcast and either present, something you're struggling with so that we can do some live coaching, or whether it be someone who wants to jump on and give some really cool advice about their own stories, their own journeys, their own wisdom. That's been really cool as well. So I'll be doing daily episodes, and the conversations I've been having, and a lot of them that are going to come out that I've already recorded, are really impactful. So I'd love your feedback on that. Yes, Jennifer was on there. Her episode's up and rolling, and it was really cool. Such a cool conversation. So that's been amazing. What else did I write down that we got to cover? So many of you know AJ. Do you know AJ who's in the group? He's doing a call tomorrow where a lot of if you're up for a little bit of fun, up for just some banter, up for some games and things like that, AJ's got a cool group going. I didn't really know about it until I had a session with him this morning around just jumping on and engaging with a lot of people who are also in isolation. So he's got a separate group, and he jumps on Zoom calls where people just have some banter, they do some masterminding, they have some jokes, they do some games, stuff like that. And it's a really cool way to get to know a lot of people. So I'll put I'll see if I can put the link if you guys want to join that group. I think I'll be there as well. So I'll just get the link, 1 second. I'll put it in the chat. I'll make sure my chat's set to all panelists and attendees. So feel free to join that group. He'll be running some Zoom calls where it's just a little bit of fun, a few games, a few masterminding. A lot of them are coaches, a lot of them are consultants, a lot of people who are just wanting to network, wanting to do some really cool stuff. So he just told me about that when I was on the call with him this morning. And I was like, oh man, that's a lot of fun. So I'm going to see if I can jump on tomorrow and do that. But yeah, jump in the group, let him know you're from this crew, and yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. What else do I have? I think that's everything, guys. So how did you enjoy the call with Christina? That was cool, wasn't it? That's out on YouTube as the recording for those who haven't seen it, and it's also as a podcast episode if you guys want to listen to it that way. I'm getting so much feedback from that call saying how many breakthroughs people had, how many insights they had. One of the most the biggest realization from this whole coronavirus is just, it's basically the opportunity for us to look in. It really is. It's sort of like the energy in the world is shifting. And the way she described it to me when I had a session with her was that we've been trapped for a long time in a very male dominated masculine energy, right? The world in and of itself, the energy has been very, very masculine in terms of the hustle, the grind, the make things happen, right? All these really masculine areas of focus, and it's all, the masculine energy is all about taking action and making it happen, right? And I've done a lot of work around just sitting with that and allowing my masculine to basically surrender to my feminine, and allow my feminine to heal my masculine, so that when I take action, it's very deliberate. It's from a place of care. It's from a place of wholeness. And one thing I described on the podcast in one of the episodes on one of these calls is like, when you allow your feminine to heal your masculine, it's almost like you can use both energies to then make sure you know exactly where the target is that you want to achieve, and then you feel so whole that you just need to go and you shoot it once. Rather, if your masculine's going out there and hustling and grinding and trying to achieve, it's almost like it's a wounded masculine because it's over dominated, right? That energy and that muscle's over dominated. So it's almost like you're going out in the woods and just shooting out blindly in the dark, trying to hit something, right? I almost broke down when I was meditating, and I realized that I had a wounded masculine who was like going out there fighting in battle, and not even realize what I'm fighting for anymore. That's really what happened. I was like, I had tears coming down when I was just like, realized like I have this energy in me that just is always about the area of hustle and grind and making it happen and trying to achieve. And I don't even know what I'm doing for anymore, right? Because I know deep down, even when I do achieve, if I don't fulfill in here, I'm not going to live a good quality life anyway, right? Because I'm just trying to achieve to fill a void within myself. And so that's where this planet's sort of shifting. We're waking up to that pattern, that very pattern. And you have this pattern, you have an over-dominated masculine energy when you struggle sitting still. When you struggle sitting still and just sitting in silence, not needing to go out and achieve and make it happen, but just sitting on the couch, sitting in your chair. I have this blanket. I sit down in my office chair here and I meditate a lot. And what comes up is so much guilt around just sitting, so much uncertainty around why the hell are you doing this, all those different things. And I've been doing that for the last 6 months intensely. And now when I sit down, I'm just like, I just feel connected. I feel one. I feel like I'm in purpose. And so then when I come on a call like this, I can be very, very present. I can be very present for my clients. I can have different breakthroughs within me. I can have a pattern fall off me and a pattern just completely dissolve that's been in me for 15, 20 years, right? When I sit down for an hour. How huge is that? And therefore, when I do take action, it's very, very guided. I'm not shooting in the blind, trying to hit something, but I have a very clear target. I just need to shoot once because I've healed my masculine with my feminine, right? Can it be done without sitting for an hour? I believe there's many ways you can do that. There are many ways you can heal this energy. There are many ways you can heal your masculine with your feminine. My question to you, Nicole, would be, what's wrong with sitting for an hour? I mean, I know a lot of you are busy and you do have other commitments. I find that it really depends on when you're sitting with this. The reason why I sit down is because the very patterns that come up are the very ones you need to look at, right? David, welcome. David, your chat is set to all panelists, so I can see when you say hi, but no one else can. So I think that would be, because Nicole raises a good question, because a lot of people say, do you need to do extended meditations? I don't think you have to. I think there are many, many other ways. What I found that's most beneficial for me and working with my clients is doing an extended meditation in silence, because it doesn't filter anything that comes up, right? So when I sit down in meditation and I sit down in silence, I don't filter anything. And so what comes up is meant to come up. What comes up is I'm just allowing it to, right? There's no filter. There's no me trying to feel a certain way. Although there are meditations, I'm doing a lot more meditations nowadays where I'm deliberately focused on gratitude or connection or oneness or inspiration, all those different things. But I always make time to sit in silence, just so I'm not filtering anything, so that whatever's meant to come up, whatever's trying to come up will. And what I find is when you sit in silence, it's like your masculine dominant energy, for those who do have a masculine dominant energy, will freak out. And that's the very pattern you need to shift. That's the very pattern we can look at, right? But it's different for everyone. This is just what I found works for me and what's working for my clients as well. But I'm very open-minded. No doubt a lot of you are going to have some really cool skills, really cool areas of meditation that you love doing. And that's my question. If it's working for you, definitely stick to it. And I'd love to co-create and see what's working for you guys as well. Nicole says, I like journaling. Me too. Could that achieve the same outcome? Just free writing and noticing the limiting beliefs. Very, very good tool, right? I have my journal here. Keep it with me all the time. Whatever brings up the patterns that are uncomfortable. That's the real key here, right? Whatever comes up, if you can feel there's a should, if you can feel you're being pushed to do something, like I feel like I just have to do this because of a story, right? If I don't, then something will happen. Or if I don't, then I'll feel a certain way, or whatever it may be, right? Whatever brings up those patterns is always a good sign. As long as you're not resisting it, as long as you're not judging it, as long as you're sitting in the space of observing it and allowing it to move on and transcend, that's always really, really important, especially now. Because like Christina explained, those who master this are those who are going to thrive after in this new era, right? So the way she described to me, my coaching call is, we've had a very masculine dominated energy for a huge time in our human existence. So it's always been masculine dominated. That pendulum needs to swing. It needs to swing, and it needs to go, it'll go more towards the feminine, right? And then it will swing back, and it generally swings back until we meet the equilibrium in the middle. I don't think that'll happen anytime soon, not in our lifetime, but it's definitely swinging. Those who are going to thrive after this, those who thrive in business, those who thrive in their relationships, those who thrive in terms of living the quality of life they want, right, in emotional harmony, are those who are going to be mastering this energy, mastering these internal patterns, right? Because the more you can almost sense it in the entrepreneurial community, right? Those who are thriving are those who are now not only doing the inner work, but living what they preach. Can you feel that? It's almost like they're doing the inner work, and they're approaching their audience with genuine kindness, genuine areas of wanting to contribute and care, right? And it's almost like now they're following their heart, they're following their calling, rather than the things they think they should be doing. And the things you can almost feel when someone's in a should. Oh, I feel like I should do this bit of marketing because it's going to get engagement. I should do this because it's going to lead to sales. Or I should do this because it's going to help me establish more authority, right? You can feel the energy shifting. I don't know, it might be just me, but I can feel that sort of energy shifting. And it's like, I've mentioned this so many times, but it's the Tao Te Ching. Ancient wisdom is, I've been bringing ancient wisdom into my life and just playing with it, just seeing what would happen, because there's so many contradicting philosophies in this compared to what we're taught in modern day entrepreneurship. And a lot of it has been around basically asking the main question of how may I serve, and have that be your dominant energy that you're coming from, rather than how do I make money, rather than how do I establish status, right? How do I establish more credibility and authority, right? Lao Tzu, 2,500 years ago, writes that you need to basically to thrive, you need to do the opposite. And that's to be in the background. And that's to almost be in an energy of basically not taking credit for anything. And it's that energy of not taking credit for anything and remaining humble and remaining in the background that allows life to give more opportunities to you. That's really what I've been playing with. I've really been playing with that a lot, and it's a game changer. It really is. So for example, when I meditate, I'm meditating on how this community is forming and how awesome it is. I've just been meditating on how I can't take credit for any of it. I can't take credit for any of it, because what I pour in to the community is what's flowing through me, right? How can I take credit for that? It's not me. I'm just the channel that it's flowing through. And not only that, but when I sit down and it's almost like things in the universe are like co-creating with me. Like, it's almost like the coincidences just come together. How can I take credit for that anyway? How can I take credit for that as well? So it's almost like I'm just the one observing my life and just acting upon the things that are flowing through me. And that gives me the energy of, I can't take credit for any of it. In fact, I can just be almost like the sage that's sitting back and being the channel of that wisdom. And the more I sit in that, I notice the more things happen around me that are just coincidences and serendipities just match what I want to do, and match the things that my heart's calling me to do. It's really interesting, but things like that, time and time again, are coming up in Tao Te Ching and ancient wisdom that I'm learning. I'm just experimenting and seeing where it can take me. It's really interesting. Okay, Nicole says it brings a feeling of relief. Yeah. to just be instead of striving an effort towards something. Oh, it's huge. If you guys just to sit right now and to just breathe deep and just feel your body. Notice this, it's interesting. Just breathe. While you're breathing, pay attention to your body, pay attention to the energy in your body, the sensations. Can you feel tingling in your hands, in your feet, in your legs, in your chest? Just breathe deep. Be here in the now. And notice what happens internally when you have an energy of allowing. Exactly what Nicole's saying here. When you are just being, and focus on, for today, not needing to do anything. And recognizing that when you're in a state of being, things will happen around you without your effort. And in fact, you'll start to heal the sides of you that think you need to do something. One thing they say in the Tao is the Tao basically doesn't do anything, but it leaves nothing undone. This is what happens when you sit with yourself. When you breathe, when you're present, when you're allowing, you're not in striving, but you're being. You don't need to do anything, but you also don't leave anything undone. The way I interpret that is that when you sit in being and you're not in the hustle of an over-dominated masculine of trying to achieve, what's flowing through you is meant to flow through you. You allow what's meant to flow through you, you allow it to do that. And then also the world will give you the results that you're meant to have. The world will present the opportunities that you're meant to be presented with. So you don't have to do anything. And by doing that, by just sitting with and being, you also leave nothing undone. Everything that's meant to happen is meant to happen, and you just allow it. Now recognize either two things will happen. You'll have a deep inner peace when you live that belief, or you'll run into some internal 5-year-olds that need to be loved, right? So you'll either embrace and feel this, or that will bring up some patterns that say, no, it can't be that way. No, I feel guilty. No, I need to make this happen, because if I don't, then this will happen. Really, really cool opportunity. This is why sitting still is so important. You don't have to do it for an hour. If it's tough for you to sit for 5 minutes, then sit for 5 minutes and hold space for that side of you. Many of you know my story where when I started this like 7 months ago, I just sat down for 6 hours. I just wanted to see what would happen. And it turns out more happened than ever before. So Nicole says she does 15 minutes twice a day. Beautiful, beautiful. A lot of people you can ask yourself the question, what feels in your expansion, right? What feels in your expansion? It might be in your expansion, it might be really tough, might bring up a lot of patterns for you to sit for 5 minutes. For some people, it might feel in your expansion to sit for an hour or 2 or 6, right? It depends what is in your expansion and what brings up these patterns. Richard, I'd love 90 minutes a day. And I feel like with this circumstance, it gives us the best opportunity to do that. The best opportunity. We don't need to do anything because none of us are working, or the vast majority of us are not working. My day-to-day life hasn't changed, but for many people, they're in their house when they don't feel like they should be, and they're given the best opportunity, right, to just look in and look at these patterns. And when you do this, you start to strengthen both sides of you, the masculine and feminine, right? Christina in our sessions got me to, for 2 weeks, not do anything masculine. Do nothing that's structured, nothing that's planning or action. When I have an idea, like Nicole said, I write it down in my journal and I just don't do anything with it. I just meditate with it and allow that idea to mature in my head and in my body, in my spirit. And those who thrive after this are those who master this skill, really master this skill. If you can come out of this coronavirus with a business that has both feminine and masculine, where you have both of them in harmony working as one, and where you have more of a heart-led mission where things are flowing through you, you almost take yourself out of the equation. Right? Take yourself out of the equation. It's flowing through you. You just allow that to happen. And then because you're in harmony with whatever's happening in here and in allowing whatever's happening out here, that's when you're in a state of co-creating, collaborating, right? Manifesting, making things happen, right? From a place of wholeness. So just notice, maybe some of you want to share what comes up for you when you sit still. What comes up for you when you sit still? This is the topic of this talk. So for me, a lot of the time when I sit still, I have a pattern that says, a 5-year-old or whatever, that says, you can't sit still, you've got to make sure you look after people. How can you look after your community when you're sitting still? You got to make sure you're posting, getting out content, doing these, messaging people, making sure they're okay. That's a pattern that I've noticed, right? And so when I sit with that, I just allow that to be there. I allow it to be there, and I breathe with it. And as I breathe with it, and as I love it, as I provide the safe space for it, it falls away. So what comes up for you guys when you sit still? What comes up for you guys when you're no longer able to take action? Do you feel guilty? Do you feel stressed? Do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel worried? Do you feel doubt? Jennifer's agreeing, yep, doing. Remains the question, while we're doing, what side of us are we avoiding when we do, right? I feel like I'm losing money. So how interesting is this one? And how common is it? Me too. This is a huge thing I had to overcome as well. Richard's saying, I feel like I'm losing money, and the money that I wouldn't be making if I was moving around. So we have a belief, a lot of us have a belief that comes from a masculine energy that says, I need to take action. I need to take action in order to make money, right? Which is really, when you think about it, it's quite dangerous, right? Because if you want to make more money, it just means you have to do more. And by doing more, you're just avoiding more and more of yourself. Right? I started making more money when I started meditating 2 hours a day in silence, because I was now at peace with myself. I was having more higher ideas flow through, a higher level of creativity. And it's almost like the world just co-creates with me. As soon as I started sitting down and not taking action. Crazy. And this is just one example of how this goes against what we're basically taught, what we've been conditioned to do in the entrepreneurial world, is the hard work and hustle. Now, the hard work and hustle may be in your expansion. Let me make that clear. It may be in your expansion if you're moving from a victim into an achiever. We all know what it's like when we feel like life's happening to us, and then all of a sudden we realize that we're in control of our life. And therefore, action may lead to some results. Action, hustle, grind, the strategies, tools and tactics, all the focus on that could get you results when that's in your expansion, right? When that's moving, when that's shifting your level of consciousness. But now I'm finding we're in a time where a lot of people are stuck in that achiever, which is why it's hard to sit still. And we now need to move from achiever to receiver. I'm talking about this a lot on the podcast, in a lot of podcast episodes, moving from achiever to receiver, which is sitting still, resolving those patterns and receiving guidance, receiving higher level ideas, receiving heightened level of creativity, right? That's exactly when this group started expanding, started growing, started really engaging. Because when I sat down in silence for a long time, I felt pulled, I felt called to serve this community. And therefore it wasn't a push like, I'm going to serve this community because it's going to get engagement and because I'm going to build authority, right? It wasn't like that at all. It was coming from an energy of compassion, of care, of just wanting to serve, because it's flowing through me, because it feels like a pull. When I'm on this call, it feels like this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm meant to do in the world. It feels like this is what I'm meant to do in the world. And so that's the energy that has been driving me, because I'm willing to sit still and resolve the patterns that tell me it's not that way. Right? Hopefully you can feel the difference. So Jennifer, yes. But it's a finite energy. Expansion's infinite. Yes, exactly. For those who haven't listened to Jennifer's podcast episode, go to Awaken Your Business and listen to that episode. It's really, really cool, talking about coming from your expansion. The energy of love, she talks about the energy coming from love is your expansion, and that's infinite. Always tapping into that. Barb, I feel like I'm sitting with my best friend. Totally loved. Awesome. Great time of communication where I can be authentic. Absolutely. And that's why a lot of you, it means so much to me. It means a lot to me. I got emotional reading your comments on my post that I had before where I'm asking for feedback around my strengths and my gifts. For a lot of you to say how authentic and genuine and caring I've been, because that's the energy I'm coming from, right? And this is where we can build businesses from. We can build businesses that are so aligned that it just feels like, I feel like I'm doing what I'm meant to do. I feel like not only am I doing what I'm meant to do, I enjoy giving. I enjoy making a difference in people's lives. I enjoy giving. I enjoy kindness. So many times in meditation, I'll just sit there, like this morning, I'll just sit there. I'll feel a oneness, and I'll just share energetically, just love for you guys and for this group and for whoever else is going to jump into this group, all those different things. You can build a business from that place. It doesn't have to be the hard work and hustle anymore. Carl, it's tricky when I'm being still and enjoying life. Yeah. And having an achiever busy around me. Yeah. Kimberly, I feel like I've done so long without results. Sitting still can't be anything but good. Yeah, that's a good sign. If you're hustling and grinding without results, you can almost feel there's resistance with yourself. And you can feel there's resistance with yourself when you feel like it's a should and you feel like you're pushing, but you can also feel like it's a push and you're in resistance when you're trying to change circumstances because you think it should be different. Right? How many times do we tell ourselves a story of I need to make this happen because it needs to be different. I need to make this happen. I need to get more money, more clients, need to grow my business, need to grow my audience because I feel like it should be different. So you take action from a place of lack. You're taking action from a place of resistance. You're resisting what is, right? Rather than being in harmony and then taking action and building your business, more money, more clients, because that feels in flow, because it feels your expansion, because it's flowing through you, right? Because because you feel it's all in purpose. Where you are right now is you in purpose. Where you are right now is where you're meant to be. How do I know that? Because you are there. Oh, it fits so beautifully in the law of attraction, says Nicole. Yeah. And the law of attraction says you don't attract what you think about. You don't attract what you do. You attract who you are. You attract who you are. All right? And any of you who are like me, who are learning about ancient wisdom of Taoism or Buddhism or whatever it may be, you can recognize that who you are is so expansive. Who and what you are is so much more than this body. Who you are is so much more than your results, so much more than the challenges and the problems. Who and what you are is just infinite, right? Infinite unity consciousness, whatever you want to describe it as. And if you embody that and live that and realize how powerful that is, that's when you attract what you are. You attract more greatness. I think it's 24, chapter 24 of the Tao Te Ching is regarded as one of the most powerful chapters in this. And it's been highly regarded as one of the wisest books ever written. And it goes through some huge insights in terms of recognizing the magnificence in what you are. Because when you recognize that, that's what you attract, because that's who you are. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. So Dave's saying, I have to get this book. Yeah, the book is called the Tao Te Ching. I'm happy to send any. It's been, other than the Bible, this is the most translated book in the world, because there's so many different interpretations of it. But this is the way I'm seeing it. I'm learning ancient wisdom and applying it in my world, which is so counterintuitive to what we've been taught in business, where I'm starting to adopt both of them. I'm starting to learn more of this, get more into I'm visualizing it like I'm becoming the sage in business. And that's sort of what I sort of want to, I'm being inclined to sort of brand myself that way, like bringing sageness into modern business and helping you become the sage of your business, where it's like you're just filled with wisdom, where things just happen around you, right? And that's really what that's really what I'm doing in my life and what I'm helping my clients do. But I think there's an area of both. I think if you tap into who and what you are, and not only that, but you're filled with so much wisdom, and you're going against the grain of what modern society is telling us entrepreneurship is, where you can be ahead of the curve where this energy is going in terms of more feminine now. But then you can also couple that with the business tactics, tools, and strategies, because you have such a whole energy. Your energy and who you are and what you are is so whole internally, that when you apply a strategy, you're not doing it from scarcity or lack or whatever it may be. Like, I'm on this call. This is part of business, right? It's on a Zoom call where it's in a Facebook group, but I'm using these platforms knowing that I'm not using them from scarcity. I'm using them from wholeness. I'm coupling them with my creativity, right? Does it resonate with you guys does it resonate with you if the metaphor of becoming the sage in your business? I mean, I'm curious on this, because Nicole says, I love that, becoming a sage of your business. Yeah. I'm thinking of doing that. I'm doing a new page on my website. And while I was writing up all the content and stuff like that, I'm like, I'm just putting in some tips on how you can be more of a sage in your business. And so that's the sort of terminology I started using. And I loved it, but it's not necessarily about me. It's about if it resonates with you guys as well. If you want to learn more about how to become a sage in your business, you can learn more and more about how you can let go of everything. Let go of everything. Just do your work and let go. Do your work and let go. Do your work and let go. And detach yourself from outcomes. How that in and of itself, how counterintuitive is that from the marketing tools and tactics where we've been taught to do? Everything's about getting a better results. What I'm finding is you get better results when you detach yourself from them, when you think you don't have to achieve and get that result in order to feel enough, in order to feel more successful, in order to feel more worthy. You just do what's flowing through here and let whatever happens out there take care of itself. And when you do that, the universe will coincide with you to make that happen in even bigger proportions. It's crazy. Yes, so we're entitled to do the work, not the outcome. Yes. It goes against everything we've learned. Fascinating. Yeah. This is what I'm finding. I mean, a lot of you can have a different opinion, which I love as well. I'm coupling a lot of different philosophies and methodologies. I'm learning more and more every day, where I would read something, I'm like, oh, I had that completely wrong, or like my mind shifted completely on that topic. But I find finding a balance of everything, right? Having an open mind, being open for all outcomes. Being open to all outcomes is something that really needs to be adopted. I'm sure you can feel, not only in modern day business, but in modern day entrepreneurship, there's a lot of things that is not in balance. Masculine, feminine, hustle, rest. There's a lot of things that are not in balance. And so what I've been taught is to go use more of your feminine, so that your feminine can now heal your masculine, because you don't go to a balance. If you're being in a highly masculine energy, you need to almost now be conditioned a huge amount of your feminine so that then you can find a balance, so that when you do take action, you have that balance. And that's what I've been doing immensely in the last couple months. My tea's going cold. So Barb says, become your own sage, and I believe that what creates for yourself and others will be amazing. Totally. I'm on this journey. I can say that yes, results are already showing. Yeah. And it's amazing because you actually don't need the results to feel enough. You feel like you don't need the results, right? I was sitting down and meditating, looking outside my window here and just noticing the garden and noticing the plants and all those different things. I just felt so fulfilled. I'm like, what else needs to happen? What else needs to happen? I just feel so whole and fulfilled in who I am. It's crazy. And then when you're living in that much harmony, just magic happens. Magic happens in here, magic happens out there. It just becomes who you are. Okay, good question by Richard. How do you decide when to monetize and sell something now? This is what you can feel is in your expansion. When you're whole, you can feel, right? You can feel what's in your expansion. So it'll be in your expansion to sell something, to present something to the world, right? To sell something so that people can get the benefit of it, right? We still need to sell stuff so that people can get the benefit of things, right? Whether it's sell books, programs, coaching, courses, like me, right? I'm still selling my coaching programs to people who are jumping in. I'm just not doing it from a place now of neediness or attachment, right? Or resisting what is. So you can still sell, create, do all these things, grow your business, but it's now coming from a place that still feels whole and still feels in flow and feels like it's flowing through you, moving from the achiever to the receiver where it's flowing through you, right? And so that's the energy you can bring into your business. If you feel like you need to make sales in order to be safe, in order to be secure, in order to be enough, in order to be significant, right? In order to be loved. That's the energy that you need to look at. They're the 5-year-olds you need to look at. That's the thing that will come up when you sit in silence and not take action. And the crazy thing is you'll make more sales. You'll find more creative ways of making money. Really, it's just how it happens. In this level of consciousness we're at, you find more ways of creating money and more ways of getting clients when you feel like you don't need to. So it just flows through an expansion. And therefore, when people sign up, they feel safe. They feel safe to sign up with you when you have the energy like you don't need them in order to be enough, in order to be safe. Right? That's why a lot of you say, I come with so much care and so much compassion, because that's exactly what it is. When I post or I do a live or I do these calls, I'm coming from a place of love, place of compassion, place of understanding. Right? You can feel, I don't need all of you on here to feel enough, which is why you're safe to join, right? We are whole and complete. Yeah, we just have forgotten. Yeah, our ego forgets. Our ego says we need more. The Tao says less is more. Less is more. Less action, right? Less stuff, less attachments, less things. Less is more. Less is so much more. The irony of all this is when you couple this ancient wisdom and this internal philosophy and this internal state of wholeness, when you do less, and you know that less is more, you actually get more opportunities. It's crazy. Any questions, guys? Carl says, have you noticed a change in energy type of clients when you operate that way? Yeah, totally. I love my clients. A lot of you know, I only take on clients that feel completely aligned, that feel completely in flow for me. that are a 10 out of 10. I feel like I'm attracting more of those people in my life when I make these shifts internally. It's a total different shift. You can feel it's a gift. You can when you become whole, when you decide to allow your masculine to be healed by your feminine, you basically are able to feel who's aligned with you, what opportunities are aligned with you, what marketing tactics, tools, and strategies are aligned with you, and which ones aren't. You're just guided by here. You're just guided by your heart. No guesswork. So feel this. When you are not taking action, when you're not taking action and you're sitting with yourself, whatever comes up, allow it to be healed with love. Allow it to be healed with love, and that will be your feminine healing your masculine. It's almost like the way Christina described it to me. Your masculine energy's been in the battlefield. It's got all the scars, all the wounds, doesn't even know why it's fighting anymore. Doesn't know what it's fighting for anymore. Just goes out swinging the axe or sword, whatever you want to envision, getting all the cuts, all the bruises. When you sit down and you allow your masculine energy to just sit there and you allow it to be loved, all those sides of you that feel like you need to take action, instead of taking action, heal that energy with love, surround it with love and safety. That's your feminine. That's like your masculine finally coming home. Finally coming home and getting rest, getting peace. Right? That's your feminine healing your masculine. Think about what your masculine can do coupled with that healing. Right? Coupled with that healing. Your masculine can then, your masculine goes out to take action, your masculine is now healed and now knows and remembers now what it's fighting for. Now knows what it's fighting for. You tap into that side of you that says, okay, my heart says this is why I'm here. My heart says this is what I'm here to do. I tap into my heart every day, and everything that comes up, my heart just pulls me towards like educate entrepreneurs, educate people around consciousness, how people heal the sides of them they're not willing to look at consciously. I'm able to hold the space for a lot of people to do this work because I do it so much with myself. And I also get coached so that I recognize what's unconscious to me outside my awareness. Mickey Kane, good to see you. When we allow ourselves to be in flow, we let our expectations and allow the universe to work through us. Yes, hence abundance you speak of. Totally. Nicolene has a podcast episode, so that'll be. I'm not sure if it's out. It'll come out tomorrow, maybe. Might already be out. Yeah, it's already out. So Michaeline Kane is a special guest on the podcast. So make sure you guys check out that episode. It's really, really cool for her to speak about her experiences and share her wisdom as well. So do you have any lasting questions before we finish up, guys? I'm happy to stick around and answer anything that comes up for you. Richard, good to be on these again. Good to see you again. Loving to see the world is waking up. Totally. We're being forced to. Starting to live more with the heart, getting out of your head. Yeah. At least that's what I'm getting involved with. Totally. We're all being forced to do that. If you guys haven't already, hopefully you're enjoying the podcast. It's been so cool to get your feedback. Those episodes have been really just flowing through. It's been awesome. And if you want to give me some feedback, if you haven't already, reply to the post I had today regarding my skills, regarding your insights or your opinion on what my strengths are, that'll really help. That's helped me with my rebranding. If you love the analogy of becoming the sage in your business, let me know, because I'll if it resonates with a lot of people, I'll stick with it. I'll stick with that branding, because it's something that's resonating with me. Just becoming, I almost imagine like my inner wise old man who just knows all the answers and just is detached from everything, just guiding and just doing what's in flow. I imagine that old wise man within me. That's my inner sage, or inner wise sage. If I can build a business from that place, it's going to impact a lot of people. Business sages unite. Love it. I think on my Instagram, for those who aren't following me on Instagram, I'm doing like daily quotes of all these types of topics. And I even had my tagline changed to "Awaken Your Inner Business Sage" or something like that. So, if those of you want to help me with my Instagram or want to jump on there, that's cool as well. And even for me, I wrote up a lot of the quotes to be scheduled out for the month on Instagram. So I'm pretty new to Instagram. Even now, I'll wake up and I'll read one of the quotes that I wrote down, and it will remind me. I'm like, that's genius. So I forget all the time. We just need to be reminded of a daily quote or daily reminder of, not getting caught up in our ego and allowing our inner business sage to make the decisions and to run the show. And so that's what I've been loving, just organizing those quotes and reminding people. So feel free to connect with me on there. I think it's just Tyson Coaching is my Instagram name. If anyone has any strategies or tips on how to grow on Instagram, I'm more than happy to co-create with you guys. I'm pretty new to it. I'm loving connecting people who are doing podcasts. If you want to be a guest on a podcast, whether it be mine or someone else's, reach out. And also, if you know hosts, if you know people who have a podcast, who do interviews and stuff like that, I'd love to be connected with them. And I love leveraging this network to help people get their voice heard, get out on more platforms and stuff like that. So happy to co-create with you guys on that as well. Awesome. This call's been awesome. I love the engagement. Love that you guys are willing to show up, even though you don't have email reminders. It's really cool to see that there's 13 to 15 people coming in here and there, even though I wasn't able to send out any emails. That's cool. So great job, everyone. Let me know how you go with this work. Let me know how you go with sitting down, doing this work, and healing that masculine energy, because the business you build from that place is going to be something extreme. It's going to be really something that feels in flow, something that feels aligned, and that inner business sage is going to be developed, really going to be developed. You can't go wrong. Awesome, guys. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Take care now.